Right, that's us on here now. Apologies everyone for the delay. We've got Matthew Woodward on the webinar today. Sadly, Matthew doesn't have a camera, but I'm sure you'll be able to recognise his voice. So appreciate you guys waiting for 10 minutes there where we got this sorted. But yeah, so we'll just kick off straight away. There's no point in waiting for people to join. People will join or they'll come back or whatever they're going to do. So Matthew, how are things with you? Are you keeping busy?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me on, and sorry about the slight delay there. Bit of a mix-up on the time zone on my end. Yeah, everything's good right now. I'm working on a couple of big projects to try and close the year out and actually have some time to relax and enjoy the elusive.com lifestyle while I'm working away. I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with that. So yeah, nice to take a little break and be chatting today.
Cool, no worries. So we'll just crack on with a couple of quick questions. So obviously you're well known. I've followed you for years myself, and you know a lot of people look to your blog for inspiration and advice. So what is the kind of biggest mistakes that you see new SEOs making now?
It's a good question. There's lots of different types of SEOs out there that all have different SEO challenges, and often there's not a one-size-fits-all solution. But if I was going to give you an answer that covers people across the board, it would be that if you just browse through forums and things, looking at the types of questions people ask, it seems that people make things really complicated, a lot more complicated than it needs to be. You know, Google's just an algorithm. It wants certain metrics, and we just have to give it those metrics. It's really simple in that regard. Well, you know, what are those metrics? Well, links from authoritative domains with relevant content. That's really it. That's all you've got to give it. But looking through the domains, you can see people kind of going stir crazy a little bit. And I think that's partly down to there's a lot of misinformation out there, which leads to confusion, and then that makes things complicated, and people think that they need to jump through 10 hoops in order for something to happen, rather than just, you know, keeping things simple, give Google what it wants, and that's it. That's probably the biggest mistake that I see people make.
Cool. Well, that's a good answer. Totally agree with it. So is there any one thing that someone can do today to improve their search engine rankings? What kind of one bit of it you give us that would help people?
Well, kind of coming back to point one again, keeping things simple. A lot of people seem to just run out, build a site, and start throwing links at it, and then they'll be wondering a few months later why it's not ranking. And again, keep things simple. You've got to look after the most basic part of SEO, and that's on site. And this is true. Every single client that comes on, the first thing that we do is an on-site SEO audit, and that alone, 9 times out of 10, brings incredible results. Even sites that I build, and I know what I'm doing. After I've built it, I'll run an on-site SEO audit, and I'll find problems, even though I built it from the ground up.
Yeah. So
and people skip over it. The quickest way to do an on-site audit is with a tool like Deep Crawl. That's what I use. It's not free. If you're going to use something free, you could do Screaming Frog SEO Spider, but that won't actually let you know about duplicate content and some other things that Deep Crawl does. So one thing you can do to improve your search rankings today, an on-site SEO audit, and fix everything.
Perfect. And if you could give anyone one piece of life advice, what would it be?
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best, and that is, there's no substitute for hard work. People are always looking for shortcuts. The type of questions I get in my inbox are, what is the quickest way to rank a site? What is the easiest way to make $5,000 a month? I need to buy this car. What's the fastest, most quickest, easy? Everyone's obsessed with easy, quick, and fast. And at the end of the day, you're building a business here, and there's nothing easy, fast, or quick about building a business, and there's no substitute for hard work. I, I'm no stranger to 80, 100-hour weeks. Not so much anymore unless I've got a big project on it. I'm like a dog with a bone. I'll go at it. Everything. I forget about everything else in life. But for years, I was running 80 to 100-hour weeks, and that's the part people don't see. They still just want the easy, quick, fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no substitute for hard work. If you've got time to go to the toilet or eat lunch, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, no, I can follow up with that one. I've had enough of that in my time. So what we'll do is we'll go on to some good information there, because I know there's a lot of people that will be watching, if they're not watching just now, that have some real questions that they want to see being asked. And obviously I've taken some of these questions and I'm going to put them to you. But first, before we do that, what we want to get across here is the old white hat, black hat question. I know it's what are you? Are you white hat? Are you black hat? And you hear so many different people out there claiming that they're this, that, and the next thing. So we all know that white hat SEO doesn't work as far as I'm concerned, anyway. But I'd love your thoughts on that, and why you might see white hat guys or even black hat guys as stupid, if you like.
Okay, so yeah, probably going to upset some people with this one. Pretty much, if I see someone say that they're a white hat or a black hat, they're an idiot. Pretty much because, well, first of all, it's a really stupid argument to make. The whole "I'm white hat" or black hat thing it's just stupid, because link building in itself is against Google Webmasters guidelines. You can go out and read them. They're there in the public eye to view. And if you're building links to manipulate search results, it's against the guidelines, period. It doesn't matter if you got that through what one guy has decided is a white hat approach or what some other guy has decided a black hat approach. It's completely irrelevant. Building links that manipulate search results is against Google's Webmasters guidelines. It just is. So your white hat SEO strategy is actually a black hat strategy in the end. If you were going to put labels on it, it's all black hat if you're going to put a label on it. So when I see people put those labels on, I just think, well, instead of putting labels on things, the way to look at it is that, look, keep it simple. There's a single ranking algorithm, and it's looking for specific metrics. All we have to do as SEOs is feed the algorithm the metrics it wants, and it's really not any more complicated than that. It's really not.
No, it's a good way of putting it, and what for me is people don't understand that. People think that I had the debate with a guy that has something to do with Majestic SEO, and he claims that white hat's this great big thing that he can get away with because he's sponsoring loads of events and everyone just links to him naturally. And often when I'm sitting there, people will see me as a guy that's black hat, but I'm not some black hat spammer that's just going to ram GSA links at my website or whatever. So it's one of those things that you have to people will label you one or the other, which I think is also stupid. But did you ever believe in white hat SEO in the early days, or was there something that maybe changed your mind to look at how you go about feeding Google what it wants?
Well, yeah, and I think I know who you're talking about with the whole event thing, and that in itself is a good strategy, but it's neither a white hat strategy or a black hat strategy. It's simply a good SEO strategy, and that's it. Because he's found a way that go around the beat around the bush, if you like, to get a lot of links really easily. But in essence, he's paying for them. It's a paid link in the end.
Yeah.
So, and it's a clever way of doing it, and that's a good SEO strategy. It's not black hat, it's not white hat. It's just a good SEO strategy. So, in terms of whether I really believed in white hat SEO, I've never really believed in white hat SEO, and I've never really believed in black hat SEO. I've simply believed in what works.
Mm-hmm.
And also by kind of saying that I believe in white hat SEO or black hat SEO, it infers that if you're wearing one hat, you're not wearing the other. So what that means is that if you label yourself as a black hat, you become ignorant of anything white hat because it doesn't fit your label, it's not cool, blah, blah, blah. And vice versa. The guys that are all super white hat, that are all, you know, guest post, blah, 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 and stick their noses in the air when they hear anything black hat, well, they're the same as well. Because they're so obsessed with their white hat label, they're ignorant of anything black hat. And the same, black hats are often obsessed with their black hat label and ignorant of anything white hat. And all that creates is, well, you only understand half a story by doing that. You only understand one side of the coin. And that means you lack huge areas of knowledge, because by choosing white hat or black hat, you're inherently going to become ignorant of the other. And again, it's simple. Google wants specific metrics. Give it what it wants. It doesn't matter how you give it those metrics.
Perfect. Good explanation there. So obviously we've got some similar views on how SEO works, and you know what we essentially want is something that works and ranks well to generate revenue. You know, that's what we all want at the end of the day. But you know, I've had my time as building up an agency and stuff like that, which I've changed now. And you know, what advice could you give to an agency, for example, who follows you know, the right way of doing SEO, how to feed Google what it wants? Because obviously people will get scared of, you know, the mention of PBNs or, you know, kind of links and stuff like that. So if you're doing work for a client, what sort of things would you be reporting on, you know, to your client at the end of the month?
Okay, well, as you probably know, running an SEO agency isn't really about SEO. It's about managing people and expectations, and yeah, I think probably about 20% of the work of running an SEO agency is the actual SEO. So yeah, running an agency presents its own challenges, but I think that the challenges you face are kind of created by yourself. So, for example, I like to be realistic when we're bringing on a client on board. We'll look at the site, we'll look at the strategy, we'll understand the business goals. Some guys want to rank in 3 months because Christmas is coming. Other guys want to rank across a year, and you know, there's no one size fits all answer. They all need a different strategy. But what we'll do is we'll then provide 3 strategy options and just be very clear about what those are. You can go very, very cheap and dirty with PBNs, which provide quick results, but because you've taken shortcuts in building them to cut costs, it's probably not a long-term option, but it's very affordable, very cheap. It delivers rankings very quick, and in some circumstances, that's the correct way to go. People with a bit of a bigger budget might want to build a private blog network the right way, the way that I would do it. Now that does need a bigger budget, but there is very, very, very minimal risk. And some people are not happy with that at all, and we offer what would be deemed a more white hat approach with some outreach, but even then we supplement it with private blog network links. So we're very open about the different options, what works best for that client in that situation, and the risks along with the costs, because quite often the lower the cost, the higher the risk, because you're usually taking shortcuts in order to reduce that cost and appease the client and their goals. Going on from there with reporting, you asked me about how we report on that kind of thing. I don't like to report too much on the middle ground, and by the middle ground I mean rankings increases or how many links you built or anything like that. I like to report on the actual end game results. How has this investment affected traffic, and how has this investment affected conversions? Because in the end it's all meaningless if it doesn't impact the bottom line for the client. And if I'm managing things like that, like setting expectations at the start and then actual showing positive business results at the end, usually makes for happy clients, but not always.
We know we never have happy clients. I don't think there ever is such a thing. I've got some right bad clients out there. But what was if a client was to pose you the question, I want to see what backlinks you're building. Show me something now. What would your be? I mean, for obvious reasons, given it's, you know, your PBNs or whatever they may be using or whatever. How do you answer that? Do you just say, listen, bugger off, you're not getting shown this? You know, what would you actually say to them? Because there's no way you can report on it.
No, I report on it because everything we do is bespoke to the client. There's no shared resource. There's no, if I've got a site in a health niche private blog network, it won't be used on more than one client.
Yeah.
When we build a network, it's built for the client. It's a truly private blog network. It's not shared in any way, shape, or form. So all links that are built and created is passed on to the client in complete transparency. And in actual fact, we go beyond that. We don't just send the links, we actually send entire backups of the sites and everything. So if at any point in the end of the relationship with us, they have everything they need in order to carry on moving forward.
Cool. Well, that's always good to hear that. So I've got another guy, you know, asked a few questions on Facebook. You know, has anyone got any questions that they might want me to put to Matthew? And basically, someone wants to know, how many hours do you actually, I know you're on, you know, some big projects and stuff just now, but out with that, like, how many hours are you putting in a day now? You know, and how did you scale up in the early days?
Well, going right now, I've got a big project, so I'm up to, I mean, last week I did 14 hours Monday, 19 hours Tuesday, 15 Wednesday, 14 Thursday, and 12 Friday, and then Saturday morning as well. So right now, you know, I'm not shy of hard work, and so right now I'm in it. You know, I'm in it all the way in. But come middle of October, the end of October, I'm probably going to dial it down where I'm only doing 2 or 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, just maintaining things and keeping things ticking over while I take care of all of the other problems in my life that I kind of ignore when I'm working like that. In terms of scaling, well, for me, maybe not the most intelligent way of doing things, but it was done through pure hard work and determination. As I built successful site, I just moved on to building the next one. And over time, things just naturally grow and opportunities come your way. And, you know, but all of that is underlined by work hard. If you've got time to eat in a day, like when I work hard, I'm not eating in a day. I take a very, very, very quick breakfast, and then I'm probably going to eat again at 10 at night, because those hours in between, that's it. I'm locked in. There's nothing else that I'm doing.
Well, that's interesting. I think obviously that's the point we want to emphasise, is a lot of people read people like you know, in your blog and your income reports and whatnot, and think that, you know, it's going to take 3 hours worth of work, you know, not realising that the hard graft you put into doing all of those kind of blog posts and tutorials and stuff like that, it doesn't come easy. You know, blog posts such as yours probably take weeks to compile.
Yep.
And yeah, I think a lot of people think that can come with a couple hours work a day, but I think they need to take a bit of advice there and work hard. So the next thing, you know, I sent you over an infographic on the SEMrush website that someone done in the blog, showing some ranking factors. Now I'll add it to the end of this video for other people to see. But obviously, they have this kind of graphic there, and it shows you what they deem as important ranking factors. I was just wanting to know what your thoughts were on that, because it's certainly not something that I totally agree with. So I just want to get your kind of thoughts on that infographic.
Okay, well, I agree with most of it, but this is pretty much how I can sum it up in a sentence. A mix of links and content backed with social sharing will get you to the first page, but it won't keep you there. No matter how strong your link profile is, your content, or your social shares, it won't keep you there. It will get you to the first page, but it won't keep you there. To stay on the first page, you need to earn your place in that top 10. And right now that happens with click-through rate and dwell time. And Google are continually testing that to make sure they're displaying the best results in the top 10. So let me give you a relatable example. You've probably had a page at some point mysteriously drop from page 1 to page 2 for absolutely no reason at all. Now, if you go and look at that page in more detail in Google Search Console, you will see that it has a significantly lower than average click-through rate than compared to all of your other pages. So beyond links, content, and social shares, which we all know builds a solid foundation, the most important ranking factor is click-through rate, and then people actually staying on your site or clicking through rather than bouncing back and clicking a new search result.
Cool. So what I mean, on that infographic, and it's not some. This is just a personal thing from me, but you know, I feel that the title tag's still quite an important thing that Google take quite seriously. What's your thoughts on that? Like, I would be curious to hear what you think about that. Do you think a title tag still carries the weight it once did?
I think it still carries weight, just a different type of weight. Historically, you know, we wanted the keyword right at the start of the title. That was the best thing, even if it didn't make sense to do so when using correct English.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's better to include the keyword in the title while being persuasive to attract the click-through.
Yeah.
So there's a second element to think about when it comes to the title tag now. It's no longer just putting a keyword in as close to the start as you can. And I found pages that rank with the keyword at the end of the title, in the middle, at the start. It really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I also find pages ranking that don't have the keyword in the title at all. So yes, it's strong, it's important, but we've got that second dimension to think about now. It's not just about the keyword, it's also about convincing people to click it.
Oh, perfect. Spoke about in the past. Is there any new tools out there at the moment that you think? You know, obviously these tools don't always work great at the start. They take a bit of development. But is there anything out there that you can recommend to us that we can be keeping an eye out for?
Okay, so going back to, there's not really a one-size-fits-all strategy, and one of the questions I get quite a lot is, oh, what's the best SEO tool to buy? What should I buy? And well, what's your problems? What are you trying to build links? Have you got on-site problems? What are you trying to fix here? There's not a one-size-fits-all strategy. There's not a one-size-fits-all tool. So really, first of all, you should buy a tool that fits your strategy. You shouldn't be changing your strategy to fit the tool, if that makes sense. You should be first pen and paper your strategy and then looking at what tools support your strategy, not the other way around. So with that said, take my recommendations with salt. If it's based on your situation, listen. If not, don't go rushing out to buy it. You don't need it. So the tools that I mean, I get pitched every day of the week to like stupid amounts of tools every week, and they're usually poorly coded or one-hit wonders with not much support, or usually just do the same as some other tool that already exists. So there's three tools that have stood out to me across the past 12 or 18 months. The first one is serpt.net, ran by a guy called Colin. That has about 40 different custom SEO tools. But why I love that is I've been using this since the start of 2015, more or less. But why I love it is because it combines data from Majestic, Ahrefs, SEMrush, and a bunch of other places. So it brings a lot of data sources under one roof, rather than having to rely on logging into lots of different websites to get the data that you need. Equally, it saves on the monthly cost. I don't also need a subscription to Majestic and SEMrush and Ahrefs and all these other expensive tools that SERP replaces. I think when I did the math, SERP saved me about $500 a month, somewhere in that region.
That's not.
Yeah. I mean, over the year, that's like 2 really good vacations, you know. So I really like that. Colin's a great guy. A few of the tools have my influence in them, and he's always responsive to me saying, well, you know, it would be better if it did this. And it's a tool that you can use in pretty much every situation. You can plug in your competitor's domain and find out exactly what keywords they rank for and where. You can actually, if you were to jump on my agency website, you can get a free custom SEO analysis. You should check that out. All of that entire process is powered by SERP, and I use that to generate leads for my agency. And that one tool alone from SERP, I made over 6 figures last year with that lead generation tool. So to say that I like SERP is probably an understatement.
No, it's a great tool. And what was the other 2 that you were enjoying?
Domain Hunter Gatherer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you're looking for expired domains, whether that is to build domains for your buy domains for your private blog network, or if you're going to build a new site. Personally, I always build it on an expired domain that has authority, making sure I've done all of the various spam and domain checks. Domain Hunter Gatherer for me is the best tool on the market right now to find expired domains. If you haven't got the budget to buy a separate tool, SERP actually includes 5 tools to find expired domains as well. And then the third tool that's really impressed me is SEO Monitor. Now, it's essentially a rank tracker on steroids, and there's a lot of rank trackers that claim that they're on steroids, but trust me, nothing is like this. If you can connect it with Google Analytics and Google Search Console, and you'll get all of your traffic back so you can look on a keyword basis how much traffic you're getting, but also on a keyword basis what conversions you're getting. So it'll actually connect to Google Analytics goals and e-commerce values. So I know that ranking #1 for Longtail Pro Review results in this many affiliate clicks. Yeah. And I know that each affiliate click is worth this value, and all of that is reported in SEO Monitor. It's also got a load of other cool tools like that that no other tool has. Only SEO Monitor does a lot of this. And it's actually one of the cheapest rank trackers on the market, which to me is bizarre, given the high level of tools that it has. So yeah, for me, depending on your situation and the problems you need to solve at the moment, SERP is a great general SEO tool. It has lots of different tools that can do lots of different tasks. Domain Hunter Gatherer if you're looking for domains, and SEO Monitor to track and monitor your progress.
Perfect. So here's a question that's something that's more of a personal thing for me as well. I'm not a developer, of any great standards. So I've looked at your website template, the authority theme, which is obviously for sale on the My Theme Shop website. I also use a different template from My Theme Shop because I didn't want to be outrageous and copy exactly what you would do. But I have been tempted, I'm not going to lie. But a big part of marketing or digital marketing is a website's got to load fast and all of these kind of things. And I've read you saying that theme's been hacked to death and it does this and it does that, and I've already got it, and I've looked at it and I've had other people's opinions on it, and they're going, but it's not all singing, all dancing, with mad sliding images and stuff like that. So I'm just out of curiosity, more than anything, is your website designed that way and being hacked the way you've got it, to make sure that it does load fast and looks great in a mobile device, rather than having it looking, very corporate? And I know you're not maybe want to target corporate audience anyway, you are who you are, but Is there any kind of thoughts on that, that went into your website template to make sure that the speed is as high as it can be?
Okay, so my theme has kind of a bit of a history. Originally, when I started out, I just picked up a premium theme called Convergence. You can't buy it anymore, but it was simple, it was clean. I made quite a lot of modifications to it to make it look even more simple than it already did. But the problem was, and I didn't understand this at the time, was how badly coded it was. It was absolutely a shambles. It wasn't mobile responsive. It was really inefficient in how the code was written, and very slow to especially as a blog gained more popularity. It was a nightmare to work with, and it came to a point where it was actually holding me back and stopping progress. So I decided to get the pros to fix my problems, and that's when I spoke with the My Theme Shop guys, and they essentially took the theme that I had kind of hacked and made look and work how I want it to, but actually built it the right way, from the ground up, using their framework, which is super fast. So now it's razor fast, it's mobile responsive, it's easy to customize. If you look at some of the demo sites that have been built with it, you wouldn't know that they're the same theme. So yes, there's a big emphasis on site speed and how your site looks for two reasons. Going back to keeping it simple, the one thing that you can do today to improve your SEO is an on-site audit, and that includes site speed. I guarantee that you can make your site faster by adding a CDN or moving to a better host or changing your theme. There's always room for improvement there. The second reason the load speed's important is, again, those performance metrics for Google. If your site loads slow and someone clicks on your result and then clicks back to Google, that's a negative vote against you, and you can only get so many negative votes before you drop off that first page. So you need to pay attention to that. Site design also influences that. If your site's ugly and doesn't engage people, they're going to click back as well. So it's important to have a clean, simple, clutter-free design that's fast loading and gives a visitor exactly what they want as quickly as possible.
I thought that. I just wanted to pose the question. You've got to make certain that you're on the right track. So another question. I'm heading off to Brighton SEO tomorrow. Going down for a few days, and obviously, as an experienced SEO, I think it's still important that I'm learning and talking to other guys and seeing what tools they use and what tips they have, or problems they encounter. Do you see value in attending these type of events, or how do you go about getting that information? Because I think there's a lot to be had from other SEOs, and just talking over a few bits and bobs, and you can get a lot of information that way. But how do you keep on top of your game?
I'm lucky in the fact that I have a lot of eggs in a lot of baskets, so I stay on top of my game by being in the trenches and working it, and not being distracted by all this. Oh, your white hat, your black hat, all this. Just what it is in essence is just bullshit. It's just bullshit. I just, again, keep it simple. Give Google what it wants, and what Google wants hasn't really changed since like 2001 or 2. Okay, yeah, we've got Penguin and we've got Panda, which is essentially just means that we have to change a little bit about how we go about things, and we can't be quite as lazy as we used to be. But in the end, what the algorithm still wants the same thing: high backlinks from quality sites. So going to conferences, I love asking people if they're a black hat SEO or a white hat SEO. I've never attended Brighton SEO actually, so I don't know about how Brighton SEO is. But my favorite SEO conference is Ungagged, because it's pretty raw. It's very small as well. It's kind of a new conference, so it has a different feel about it for learning SEO stuff. If you want to go beyond SEO, one of the conferences I really enjoy is Affiliate World, and they do an event in Germany and in Thailand each year. And the reason I like that is because you get to see behind the scenes of a huge range of affiliate campaigns. And for me, that's just like feeding the brain with inspiration. And you know, you get to see behind the scenes of like a guy who's making $5,000 a day selling t-shirts on Teespring. Sounds like a Warrior Forum product, right? But this guy's on the stage doing it, showing you, logging to his accounts and actually sharing valuable stuff rather than just a shitty little ebook. And the ultimate conference, if you ever get a chance, you should go. Simply for its sheer scale, is Affiliate Summit, and they throw down the most epic parties, and I'm talking like epic private parties with Snoop Dogg, Ludacris, Cypress Hill, private UFC matches that John Chow refereed one time, with Chuck Liddell, and yeah, like crazy stuff. If you want crazy, Affiliate Summit is the conference to go to. That is the one. But I'm saying all of that. I've not been to Brighton SEO, so I can't speak for that.
That's decent. You should attend it one day. You know, obviously for me, I don't think, you know, in terms of learning too much from the speaking events, because it's normally the same old, you know, content marketing and all that kind of chit chat. But I think, you know, in terms of networking and stuff, you know, I find it great, and they do some good parties and stuff like that as well. So it can be mad. But obviously the one you mentioned there sounds a hell of a lot better, you know.
Well, the last one's less about learning and more about, you know, partying. Yes.
You've got to get the mix right, because if you're working those long days that you're working, then I'm sure you're entitled to a wee party.
Yeah, every now and then. And if you get a party, let's do it, you know.
So I want to go back to something I bought a while ago from yourself. I bought the PBN course you done. I can't remember exactly how long ago it was, maybe 18 months ago or whenever it was. And obviously what I wanted to do was see your exact thoughts were in PBNs and what you used. And, you know, I found it, you know, a very good course, and, you know, it was well worth the 200 quid or whatever it cost. But obviously, as an SEO, you know, I want to see if you're doing anything different from me. Is there anything I'm missing out on? And it's part of my ongoing development. And you know, everyone is in the same boat. We always want to see what other guys are doing. And you mentioned to me that you've got this kind of free thing going on at the end of September. So can you tell us a wee bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're as SEOs, we're always growing and learning new things. There's not an SEO on this planet that knows everything. Don't be under the illusion that one day you're going to suddenly hit this point where you know everything and you're a good SEO. It just doesn't happen like that. You're always going to be learning. You're always going to be making mistakes. You're always going to be fucking something up, and you're always going to be learning something. It's part of why SEO is good and enjoyable for me. The course was launched in September 2015 originally, so it's a couple of years old. And back when I launched it, it was a huge success for me, not only in terms of sales, because I put a lot of effort into making that course. I can't tell you how much I was killing myself to make that. But what was more impressive is some of the results the students were getting. I had one guy build out a network for a legal company in the States that performed so well. It just so happens to be one of the biggest legal companies in the States, and they ordered a private blog network from him for $250,000. So, I mean, that's on the extreme end of the examples of the results, but I mean, yeah, blown away. It made all of that hard work really worth it. And since I released the course, I've released 5 major updates with a ton of new videos and content based on student feedback, and kind of refine the process a little bit to make things easier. If you've not seen any of those updates, you should go and check them out, because again, it stays current with just little tweaks in the algorithm that you need to stay ahead of. And what was even cooler about that course is that we're all marketers here. We're no stranger to product launches. In order to sell that course, I put together a 4-video free training SEO series, which essentially teaches people a ranking strategy behind the most competitive niches in SEO, and shows people how to build the first site in their private blog network. And I also give a checklist that helps you avoid all of the most common pitfalls and footprints that are going to get you caught. And the results that came from those 4 free videos were very interesting as well, because what I actually found, now let's be clear, the purpose of those 4 free videos is for me to sell you the full course. I'm a marketer. We're all marketers here. We know what's going on. But I also, as a marketer, wanted to make sure that those 4 free videos gave people the knowledge and clarity they needed to go out and rank a site. And so people were going out and building the first site in a network, making mistakes, but then building 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 sites in a network from what they'd learned in the free videos. And we're starting to see first page rankings that transform the traffic of their websites. So for me, the free video, the results from the free video series were just as interesting as the paid course. So if you're looking to improve your SEO, or maybe get a more behind the scenes look at my strategy just to broaden your own knowledge, well, across those 4 free videos, as about 10 years of my successes and failures boil down into those videos. And if you watch them, you'll probably know more about SEO than 90% of the people out there that claim they know about SEO. So that free video series, let me just check my calendar, is going to be available on September 22nd. So if you're interested in that, I'll let Craig know when it's available, and he can give you guys all a link to sign up and get those 4 free videos. And then if you buy the course at the end of it, that's nice, but honestly, you don't need to. You'll learn enough in those free videos to go out and do some serious damage.
Well, that sounds good. That sounds good. And as I say, I'm sure loads of people will jump onto that, and people are, I think that you are hiding away in the background and not giving out too much in the way of information, but obviously you're grafting away there, doing some new stuff, and that's really important for other people to continue to learn.
Just to jump in on that, actually, sorry, there was I'm a member of various different Facebook groups, and I like to keep my finger on the pulse with what problems people are having. And Stuart Walker on his Niche Hacks group posted a question the other day saying, do you feel like the gurus are hiding something from you, like they're holding something back for themselves? And just reading through the responses for me was incredible, because people are I don't know, people just seem to believe that there's some hidden magical secret out there to success, and that one day they're going to discover what this secret is and they'll be successful. And if you can find a thread, it's really interesting reading it and understanding the mindsets of 90% of certainly the Niche Hacks members out there. All believe that there's some secret power that they yet don't have. And let me tell you what that secret power is. We've already talked about it. It's hard work.
That's it. It's laughable at how people's thought processes go. People are crazy, way overcomplicate the market. And I sometimes laugh at my own success. I'm going, how the hell have I got here? I was just doing simple things and not thinking too much about it, and having the balls to, try a few different things and whatnot. So it is laughable that people think it is still black magic or something like that, which, as far as I'm concerned, it's not. You've got to read up, look at guys like yourself, or there's many other guys out there, putting out some good content and, keeping it simple. But What we'll do is just go into a few questions from some of the guys on the live chat there. So there is some cool questions from a couple of guys. So we've got Sam Malley, who I know very well. So he's basically asking, what advice, or what kind of advice can you give for a link building strategy for smaller companies that don't have easy link building opportunities, such as events or mentions of the brand, so they can do link reclamation and whatever? What sort of advice would you give to a kind of small company that has nothing, including a very basic budget?
Okay, if you're on a budget and a small company, I mean, I'm slightly biased in my advice, but I would begin investing in building a small private blog network of 3 to 5 sites, just to see how they push the needle initially, and that will then tell you everything you need to know about the strategy moving forward. To do it yourself, 3 to 5 sites is going to cost you in the region of about $500 if you outsource the content, and probably about $300 if you write the content yourself, which I think is affordable for most small companies. And if you don't have the knowledge to do that already, then the free videos that I'm going to give you in September will do that. Alternatively, if you were to outsource the entire thing and have my agency do it, we'd be starting at around $1,500 a month. So it really depends on your budget, but not just your financial budget, but your time budget as a small business owner as well. Some people have got the time to learn a little bit and do it themselves, others haven't, and you've just got to see where on that time and financial scale you sit as a business right now.
Perfect. Here's another question from Marcus Arcan. Again, I know this guy very well. So he's put a question here. How about building a page on a blog site, i.e. domain.wordpress.com, then building Web 2.0's social signals and run GSA to that page, and then linking it to your money website? What's your thoughts on that?
That works, and arguably you don't need to link it to your money site, because that, depending on the niche, could be enough to rank on its own. The reason I like a strategy like that is it gives you control, because if for any reason the strategy went bad, now let me be clear, SEO is just a game of risk management. Every strategy has risk. It's your job as an SEO to manage that risk. Now, this strategy with the Web 2s gives you a certain level of control over that risk, i.e. if you get penalized, you can log into those Web 2 sites, remove the links, and clean up your link profile very quickly. You're in control of that. But what you're not in control of is, well, the site at all, because at any point WordPress can choose to delete it, which means all your hard work is wasted, and that could potentially have knock-on effects for your money site, and you could lose the rankings as you lose those links. So on one side of the coin, it gives you a level of control. On the other side of the coin, you have no control. Also, Web 2s don't really have as much power or authority when you're just registering them. If I can go and buy a new domain, well, not a new domain, an expired domain, but register it like it was a new domain at Namecheap or GoDaddy for between $7 and $9. That's got a trust flow of 20 or a citation flow of 20, and that will provide hundreds of times more power than the new Web 2 domain for what is really next to no money, very little investment. So yes, the Web 2 strategy does work. Yes, it has benefits, but it also has problems, and it's not the way that I would go about it personally, because I would just spend the budget on doing it the right way.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. So there's another question again from Sam Malley. He says, Matt, you mentioned the various checks that you do when creating PBNs. What kind of checks on the expired domain name are you doing? Can you elaborate on what you're looking for from an expired domain name? Just run us through whether what's the kind of things that you're looking at.
Well, in the free video series, I'm going to give a full checklist to work through that. But in general, you want to be checking domain metrics from the key providers, Ahrefs and Majestic, and to an extent Moz. And you want to be looking at citation flow and trust flow from Majestic. You want to be looking at domain authority from Moz and the page authority in Ahrefs. And just seeing that those values, I like them to be over 15. Personally, it's not a hard fast set of rules. You might find a domain that's a little bit lower in some metrics, but it's stronger in others, so you'd accept it. Once you've done a little quick check on the metrics, I like to do a few basic checks. First of all, looking at anchor text, making sure that they're not spammy anchor text, and it will become very clear what is and what isn't spammy on a domain by domain basis. Then I'd like to jump into archive.org, check out the history of the domain, and what we're looking here for really is consistency. For example, if a site used to be about walking your dog and now it's about mobile phones, I wouldn't touch that domain. If a site used to be about walking your dog and is still about walking your dog, that's a kind of consistency that I'm looking for there. Now, there are other checks that you can do, but that will cover you for the most part. And then you can choose to use that domain as part of your network or as a money site.
Perfect. Oh, good explanation. So I've got another guy, Glenn Cooper. Now, he's basically saying his competitor's backlink profile is quite poor, and he believes that he's matched their backlink profile, but he's still at the bottom of page 1 for his keywords, and they're still at the top of page 1. He also believes that his on-page SEO is pretty good. However, his site links are only about 3 months old. His competitors have got links that are probably between 3 and 5 years old. Do you think that the main, how long a link's been there makes a difference? And should he just be patient with that and just, he's got his links that are 3 months old. Should he just hang out and, it will continue to rise? What would be your answer to that?
For sure, he's got on-site SEO problems. Every single client thinks their on-site SEO is perfect. I've never spoke to anyone that thought they had on-site SEO problems. Yeah, every single person has on-site SEO problems. Even my blog right now has on-site SEO problems. So don't be naive to think that you don't. You do. So first of all, go out and take care of that. Don't be arrogant about the fact that you haven't got on-site SEO problems. Go and run deep crawl first and foremost. Second of all, okay, you're already on the first page, so we know that your links, content, and social is good. How's your click-through rate? Look on a page-by-page basis. Is your click-through rate below average on a site, below your site average or above? Tweak those meta titles and descriptions. Another nice way to jump up the rankings on a page is just go in, update the content. I'm not going to tell you how many words to add or whatever. Go and update the content in a way that helps your users the best and positions you as the best result on the first page. However many words that is, go and do that. Once you've done those things, you should, the on-site thing on its own should make a big difference, but the meta titles and updating the content combined will for sure see you climb that first page. If you drop off the first page, you fucked up. You failed the click-through rate test. And in my experience, it's very, very, very difficult to get on the first page again once you fail that test. To the point I don't actually even try. I just move on onto a different keyword and page. So that's what I would do in your situation.
Perfect. One more quick question, and it's more of a personal one for me because we're nearly out of time. So some tips for aspiring bloggers, Matt. There's people out there who want to do blogging, not just in digital marketing, but a wide range of other industries. And they're often, these guys will say, we have to add 10 blog posts and stuff like that. Clearly, you have, I don't even know how many blog posts you've got, something you can maybe highlight. But what would you say is a good starting point for someone to do? Like, is it go and get 100 blogs, or what's your approach for someone to just starting out with a blog and trying to make some money doing affiliate marketing?
Okay, so I want to preface this that when I started my blog, it was an experiment and also an accidental success. It had no real long-term plan behind it. If I was to do it again now, I wouldn't do what I did then. So also, you kind of said, oh, how many posts, how many this, how many that. Rather than focus on how many posts you write or how many social updates you make or how many links you build or how many this or how many that, how about you focus on how many people you help? Because it's not social links that have got credit cards and give you money. It's not, Google that does that. It's not any of those things. It's people that in the end make your business a success. So rather than focusing on how many posts you've got and things like that, just think like, how many posts is this person, how many people is this post going to help? And if you can Google and find posts that will help more people in your post, well, then you've got some work to do. You need to step up your game. If you're going to launch a blog from scratch, at a bare minimum, this is what I would do. And you've caught me off guard with a question, so this is off the top of my head. I'd probably refine this a little bit more if I thought about it. But you should start with at least 5 pillar posts of content that are the best on the web, solving the 5 biggest problems in your niche. Find out what those problems are and solve them with the 5 best pieces of content on the web, hands down, period. As well as the content, something that people often forget is you need a decent email marketing strategy. You need opt-in forms on your blog. You also need a lead magnet of some sort, which again should be of the same quality. And you need some kind of autoresponder series. On my blog, I've got a tutorial that shows you how to do all of that relatively easily, but you need it from day one, because the entire goal of your blog is to convert those readers into subscribers and then those subscribers into money. So 5 pieces of content, make sure that your email marketing strategy is on point, and then don't make it complicated. Just go and help people. Go through the forums in your niche, Facebook groups, and help people, engage them with the content that you've created. Those simple 3 steps will take you through the first kind of 60 days of your new blog. And if you've not got a steady amount of traffic in your first 100 subscribers by the end of it, just keep building on the content and influencing more people with it.
Perfect. No, that's great advice, and that's us probably out of time now. But I do want to thank you for your time, Matthew, for coming on. It's good to speak to you, and as I say, I'm sure there's some good actionable takeaways for the viewers to take away, some tools and stuff like that, and also importantly to get a hold of some of these free videos that are coming out. So do you want to just confirm what was is it the 22nd of September we can look to?
September 22nd, they will be available. We spoke before about the hours I was working. Last week when I was doing my crazy 19-hour days, it was to actually re-record these videos with some new information and answer some new questions. So I assure you, blood, sweat, tears, stress, and you probably even see some of that in the videos, has really gone into it. So September 22nd, they will be available. If you're in the UK, because I'm based in Costa Rica right now, they're probably going to be available around 4 p.m. UK time, September 22nd. So keep an eye on that. And also alongside the free videos, you'll get unlimited access to me to answer your questions as well. So one way or the other, you're going to be a better SEO at the end of that. I guarantee it.
perfect. Well, I'll be sure to give people a shout out when it's there. Just prompt them to have a look, and I will also be having a look myself. So I look forward to that. And as I say, best of luck with everything else you're doing, and keep up the hard work and good information that you've been providing us all for the past 5 years or whatever you've been going for. I've certainly been watching it for 5 years, so it's keep up the good work anyway. And that'll be us for today.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having me on. I hope provided some value, and you guys have learned something along the way. And as usual, you know where to find me. So if you've got any further questions or follow-up, ask me or perhaps Craig, and take a look out for the link for the free videos on September 22nd.
No worries, Matt. That's great. Cheers.